The mountains were quiet that night. Too quiet for autumn. Usually the wind would sweep through the pines in these long, whistling breaths. But tonight, the air felt, led by something that was listening. Elias Horn felt it the moment he stepped onto the old ridge trail, his own lantern bobbing against the dark. Had been hiking these mountains since he was a boy. He knew every bend, every tree, every rock that jutted out like a broken tooth. But tonight, the silence pressed against him like an invisible hand. He wasn't out here for a scenic hike. Not after the letter he'd received that morning. It was a shaky note from his brother, Jonah, who had been missing for years. The letter was postmarked from a cabin deep in the high country, a place Jonah had sworn he would never return to. The message was simple. Elias, come alone. Follow the lantern. Elias assumed it meant Jonah would be waiting for him on the trail. He didn't know then that the lantern in the letter was not his brother's. The first sign appeared an hour up the ridge, a faint glow drifting between the trees, as pale as moonlight trapped in glass. Elias froze. It was a lantern, but there was no figure holding it. It just floated several inches above the ground. Swaying gently as if moved by a breeze that didn't exist, Elias called out, "Jonah? Jonah, is that you?" But there was no answer. The lantern only drifted backward, as if it was inviting him, or maybe warning him. Elias followed. The deeper he went, the brighter the mysterious lantern became. It glowed a soft golden white, beautiful in a cold, otherworldly way. Soon he noticed something strange. As the floating lantern stayed ahead of him, his own lantern began to dim. The flame sank lower, flickering, shrinking. It was as if the light ahead was feeding on it. By the time Elias reached the old switchback, his lantern died completely. It smothered him, except for that one floating light. He walked on. Every few minutes, the lantern would shimmer, changing brightness like a heartbeat. And each time it pulsed, strange visions flashed across the trees. A young boy running through the woods, a girl crying beside a broken trail sign, a man shouting his own name as something dragged him into the darkness. Elias shook his head. They had to be hallucinations, till he saw Jonah. At the far edge of the trail, half hidden behind a boulder, Elias spotted a figure. A man with familiar shoulders, a familiar stance, a familiar jacket. "Jonah," Elias shouted. The figure turned. For a fleeting moment, Elias saw his brother's face, frightened, desperate. But when he stepped toward him, Jonah vanished, like mist in the sunlight. In that same instant, the lantern brightened. It seemed almost pleased. By now, Elias had reached the highest stretch of the ridge. Ahead, the lantern slowed. It hovered above a rocky ledge, casting long, dancing shadows. And then, from behind the light, a shape appeared. It was tall, thin, wrapped in torn, colorless robes that moved without any wind. Its face was hidden by a deep hood, but beneath it, Elias saw two small lights, like candle flames where eyes should be. It held the lantern by a rusted iron chain, the lantern Wraith. A creature whispered about by hikers and hunters. A ghostly guide who leads travelers off the safe trails. Some say it shows the path of fate, others say it traps the souls of the lost. Elias swallowed hard. "Where's my brother?" The Wraith tilted its head in a slow, unnatural motion. Then it raised the lantern. The flame inside flared bright white, and the world around Elias changed. The lantern's glow poured across the ground like liquid light, painting everything in a cold, shimmering gold. And in that light, Elias saw the truth. He saw his brother Jonah, lost in these mountains 3 years ago, walking alone, desperate. He saw Jonah find the Wraith, saw a hand reach toward the lantern, and the moment Jonah touched it, his body fell to the ground. Quote, his spirit, glowing and weightless, was pulled into the lantern's flame, like a breath pulled into lungs. Elias stumbled back, horrified. The Wraith lowered the lantern then, almost gently. Inside the flame, shapes flickered, faces, hands, faint silhouettes pressed against the glass. One of them was Jonah. The Wraith extended its free hand. A long skeletal finger pointed at Elias. A whisper crawled into his mind, soundless but clear. "Follow." Elias shook his head violently. "No, let them go. Let them go." The Wraith's hood dipped lower. It tightened its grip on the lantern and stepped toward him. The flame brightened violently. Blinding white, and Elias felt his thoughts twist. The Wraith didn't kill, it harvested, collected stories, memories, pieces of human life to store in its eternal flame. And now, it wanted his. Elias ran. He tore down the ridge trail, his feet crashing against loose gravel, breath tearing from his throat. Behind him, the lantern glowed brighter and brighter, lighting the entire forest like a rising star. He could feel the Wraith gaining on him. He didn't dare look back. When he reached the lower trail, something hit him total. Absolute silence. No wind, no crickets, not even his own heartbeat. The Wraith was so close that sound itself was hiding from it. Elias lunged forward, stumbling onto a fallen log. His foot slipped, and he crashed down the hill, tumbling through brush until he slammed into the trunk of an old cedar tree. Pain exploded across his ribs. Then a voice, soft, cracking, familiar. "Elias, go." It was Jonah's voice. Elias forced himself upright. The lantern ahead had dimmed just enough to reveal something behind it, Jonah's faint figure. Pale and flickering like a dying match, standing between Elias and the Wraith. "Run," Jonah whispered. The Wraith's flame snapped brighter, as if angered. It reached toward Jonah's apparition, trying to pull it back. Jonah resisted, his shape trembling violently. "Go!" he screamed, his voice echoing through the trees. Elias obeyed. He sprinted down the mountain trail until the forest finally broke open, and the first lights of the distant town sparkled below. Only then did the silence lift. Only then did the lantern's glow vanish. Elias never found that floating light again. But every night since, at exactly the same time, a faint golden glow appears at the highest point of the ridge. It flickers once, twice, as if someone inside is tapping on the glass, calling for help, or warning him that the lantern Wraith is still waiting for him to return. Thank you so much for joining me for this chilling tale. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more strange and unsettling stories. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video.